to be very controversial to say, but marriage also is sex work.
Yo, what's up, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode of Before You X Me. It's your boy JJ.
And it's your boy AK.
I was on Instagram last night and I got sent a video. Zizi Mills talking to a lady called Slumflower. While I hate to take things from just a small clip, I wanted to see the actual video of the conversation. So I went in search of it. But I think the conversation was quite interesting in the sense where when you hear someone say something, automatically you might just make a conclusion on what you've just watched, even though it is a very small
It's a snippet.
It's a snippet. So you don't want to make a judgment based on snippet. I try not to do that. So I tend to want to listen to the conversation just to get a full understanding of what type of person I'm dealing with and where this sort of thought process is coming from. Now, what I'm about to play you is a little bit wild when you hear it from the onset. But when you get deeper, which I am going to try and break down as much as I possibly can, if I'm allowed to, I will give you my opinion and my views on where the mentality has come from and why she is the way she is. But here is what she said.
To be very controversial to say, but marriage also is sex work because a lot of women, what they're doing is, and this is controversial to say.
Go on,
because
I'm going to hear this. Let's hear this.
in your definition where you said earlier about prostitution, where, you know, like you sleep with a man, you get money, or you hang out with him, you get money. Why I say marriage is prostitution is because what happens is women engage in marriage from a place where, okay, he's gonna take care of you financially and there's a home for you both to live in. And what you are doing is you're fulfilling a role. So you're going to either be some sort of like homemaker, homekeeper, you're raising and rearing the kids, and you are partnering with him and sleeping with him in the hopes that the trade-off will be that you get validation, love, and upkeep. And the man understands and believes that if he continues to fulfill that role for you, then the arrangement works because marriage is an arrangement. Now, why I say it's prostitution is because whilst it's not necessarily on the surface, you're for a transactional exchange, there's something that you're for.
Me, I'm known to be the stupid, crazy, wild one. But this one,
It's been you, Abby.
this one tire me. First of all, JJ, what's the definition of prostitution and what's the definition of marriage?
Prostitution is an exchange of sexual favors for
Financial
funds.
gains.
Yeah, for financial gains.
What's the definition of marriage?
There is much more to marriage than being transactional.
So if those two definitions are the only things that I just want to put out there,
This girl said that there's something that you're fucking for. And she said people get married for love, upkeep, and validation. Our understanding of marriage is very limited. And I'll explain why when we get into the actual body of the video.
Bye-bye.
She's only 29 years old, which is not to say that age is way to do with, wisdom or whatever, but sometimes some people believe that they know it all when they actually know nada. What she's describing is something very transactional, and I will show you where her mentality comes from and where her understanding and beliefs of life, where it lies, so that you can then use that to fully understand that she doesn't necessarily know what she's talking about because she's in her own matrix.
maybe she's talking from her own experience. Every relationship and every attempted marriage she's tried to be in has all ended up being transactional. So she's speaking from her own experience because
She probably is.
Yeah, so
because she spoke about where do you know what? Let me just roll the clip.
see the tattoo and the bobby self.
What you were describing about me being soft inside, I genuinely am a soft person, and that is the reason why it's important for me as a woman, especially a Black woman, to have that solid exterior, because when you're a woman and you're kind, people will try to take advantage of that kindness, especially men, especially intracommunally, referring to Black men. That's something that I have not just experienced, but have seen happening as a pattern in our community. And it's something that our mothers have been affected by, our aunties, our grandmothers. It's a generational thing, but also it's systemic. So it's something that seems to be an ongoing thing where, as a Black woman myself, when I do lead with the energy of being stern and being like, you're going to need to prove yourself to me as a man, to people online who are reading the way that I share those ideologies, it does come across really stern and harsh. But the ultimate motive behind the work I do is to encourage women to understand that you don't lose anything from standing up for yourself and being sure of your worth in the face of men who want to sleep with you.
I totally agree with that last statement. You don't lose anything by being sure of yourself and knowing your worth, which you should. And it's not just with men who want to sleep with you, it's in general with anybody. Set your standards, and if someone doesn't meet that standard, keep it moving. Do not seek financial gain from that person, because that's about morals now at that point.
Seek financial gains because the economy right now is very tough. But go on.
But in that little clip there, she basically just exposed where the mentality is coming from, and saying that is within the black community for men to want to take advantage of women who are kind and nice. Honestly speaking, you don't need to have a hardened exterior, because that just pushes people away from you. Not just men, even friends, family, and everything. You can't live in fear of someone is going to take advantage of you. You don't necessarily need to trust anyone until they prove themselves to you, but ultimately you don't need to have that hardened exterior. Maybe experience has hardened her.
What type of men then do you feel like you attract? Because then I feel, because the thing with me is where what I kind of struggle with is, if a man knows that he has to do such and such and such to maybe get to where he feels like he needs, does he not then just follow those rules? And then how do you decipher between a man that is just following these instructions to a man that, because he just wants to get what he wants, or a man that is following the instruction because he genuinely likes you and wants to get to your heart and your softness? How do you figure out the both? How do you know?
Wonderful question. So in terms of deciphering between a man who's just following the rules to get the pussy versus a man who is going to abide by your boundaries because he loves you, for a while you won't be able to tell the difference, and that's
then
why
you're just getting your heart broken.
For me, it's like that's why time is a key factor.
Do you have to do trial and error then?
That's the thing, right? In this whole life, this whole existence
Is
as human
trial and
beings
error.
is trial and error, but the key component here is time.
I like what Zimi said. She said trial and error.
Yeah.
This girl don't do plenty trial and error. And most of the trial and error has ended up being error. And that's why she's speaking like this. Because I know other females that are in very successful one-time attempted relationship that led to marriage, and they have a family right now. And if I was to ask them their opinion, they would not tell me that marriage now, what should she call her? Prostitution. They went through life a certain way and they would disagree with this. So I think she has gone through life and she's picked a lot of wrong guys. And I think all she ever had to offer, maybe I'm wrong, it's just my opinion, was sexual. I think she didn't have any other thing that
we'll
was...
get to it. Because I think the more you listen to her speak, the more you can
talk sense.
Yeah, you make sense for there. Because the more...
Sorry, I got carried away. My bad. Continue.
Anyway, the more you listen to her, the more you realize that the type of men that Zizi is even talking about doesn't apply to her. I agree with it. Yeah, time. Give everything time. Time will reveal a lot of things to you. And that's just the honest truth. No one can keep up a facade for long. So the more time you give it, the more you get to realize what type of person that person really is and what their motive actually is eventually. But at the same time, this type of men doesn't apply to her.
If she goes to seek therapy from her PTSD or whatever she's
traumas,
you see this beautiful man will heal properly, and then the messages you'll be preaching outside to the world will be different. That union is actually a great thing.
Unfortunately, I've seen a lot of women who do that, and it's just very late by the time they realize it.
Why? That's what I'm saying. I hope.
It's so sad.
Yeah, I hope she gets it done early, because right now she's speaking from a very lost, disappointed, used, let down. I've met certain kind of guys because I know.
I mean, she's adapted.
As you're explaining this to me, all I'm thinking is, do you not get tired? Like mentally tired?
Great question.
Because as you're explaining, I'm thinking, I don't. And that's what I was saying earlier about just being like soft, because like I'll see some of your videos, you'll be like, why would you message that guy, or why would you tell him that? And I'm like, because I want to.
I hear it.
Because I feel like he should know. And then, because, do you get what I mean?
I get exactly what you mean. Period.
But it's like, I'm here.
Like, why can't we just vibe? Why can't we just be our authentic,
but do you not feel that, yes. But don't you feel like if we all do this, we're just going to keep going in this cycle of no one is really being real with each other. We're not ever going to have the true...
I get your question.
Do you understand?
Absolutely.
Like, it's just a constant game of everyone trying to outsmart each other.
Well, this is the part where clarity comes in, because when men are moving to me, right, when they're asking me things like, oh, what's your type? My type is provider.
She said marriage is what?
Prostitution.
What is prostitution?
Transactional.
And what is she looking for?
Transaction.
And she's looking for what? She's looking for what? A provider.
A provider, yeah.
I know, Doc, after this point when we don't make, now you go to talk, man, I go to listen to you. I don't do it again. She's mad. I was trying to even consider saying, okay,
No,
like,
but she even let...
She's brought herself up, shut herself back down to reality. Babes, you just told us your problem. And yeah, but go on.
My thing is, women are hypergamous by nature. I always say
that?
Hypergamous, you react the same way every time I say that word. They date above their state status. That's what women do. So I'm not even mad at that. But let's see what she says.
When you say provider, what do you mean by that?
So what I mean by provider is all bills paid.
Oh.
All bills paid. Plus, because for me, it's about lifestyle. I date men for lifestyle. I don't date men for like companionship and feelings. Like, that's part of it. But the priority for me is lifestyle.
Wait, no, Chidi, see, this is...
By the time we finish this episode...
When she said marriage is a form of prostitution, now you understand that this is the mentality she has. This is how she views life. How she views men is resource and resource only. She's not dating for companion. She's not dating for love. She doesn't even understand the fact that marriage is a way to raise your next generation, raise your offspring, have a legacy, leave something in this earth other than your toil of working and all of that. She doesn't even understand that aspect. All she sees is, what do I get from this man? And people like these are influencers, and that's what pisses me off the most, because you don't know half of the trauma that this woman is working with.
She actually just spoke her truth. She said marriage is prostitution, and she just said it. She's only in for it for what? Financial gain.
So there's only one prostitute. You know what I mean?
She spoke her truth. She spoke her truth.
Women on a large disagreed with her because they know she's talking absolute rubbish.
But hold on. Maybe this is clickbait. Maybe this guy is doing cloud chasing. Maybe she's not real like this real life.
I don't know what she's like in real life, but ultimately, don't come up with dumbest shit. This is my last point of what I'm going to address.
Go on.
I've clocked that, okay, in the first, 3 months of knowing a guy, he's going to be putting his best foot forward, because that's the impression that he...
What's 3 months? How many days is 3 months?
90 days.
Remember that what we reacted to? 90 days. Testosterone level.
Testosterone, yes.
They're talking absolute nonsense. They all read from the same book. And you know what book that is?
Think Like a Man.
Give you. He really wants to earn your trust. After that, it's
which
up
is
to God.
actually, I was having a conversation about this the other day, it's actually a form of manipulation.
Of course it is.
It's like such a, and when you say this to men, they start panicking because they think now you're going to start saying, oh, it was against my will. And it's like, no, it wasn't against my will, but it was also manipulation. Like, you presented yourself in a certain type of way in order to get into my panties. And now you've got into my panties and you've adjusted your behavior. Because if you showed me this behavior in the beginning, you wouldn't have got in my panties.
Most times it's because they don't have what you need.
And also, most times because they actually don't have game. I remember my friend said to me, he was a guy, he said to me, a real guy that actually has game, they shouldn't have to be telling you lies to get in your panties. Exactly. They should just be able to say to you, this is what I want. Can you give it to me? I'll be happy to engage in this. This is all I can offer you. Because if you're actually a real player and you get gal, you should be able to pass up on me or you, because you know, there's another great woman. Just because I can't have Chidi or I can't have Zizi, let me go somewhere else. I shouldn't have to fill you with lies and false hope.
But Zizi's right. She's right. But what Zizi doesn't know is this girl saying because she appeals to niggas who lead with money. And when a nigga leads with money, he is making a transaction. Bruv, a man that's coming to you on the first night brought a big bouquet of roses that you know is like 100 and 300 and something pounds. iPhone 16. He's already transferred money for T-Face, giving you like 600 pounds.
And then he's offering you trips to Dubai.
Like, what do you think that nigga, what do you think he wants? What do you think he wants? He wants to make you his wife? Are you that dumb that you don't know that he's paying for something? Tell me you're that stupid.
What's he paying for?
Tonton. He wants the money. That's what he wants. So when you're listening to this type of girl who all she's attracted to is funds, that's all she's attracted to.
If I need 10K right now, can you give me 10K? Like, if HMRC comes to me and says, yo, we need 10K from you, can I come to you and say, yo, look at this letter, can you help? I can't pay you back, but can you do me a favor? Can you do that? No. Okay, next caller.
All she wants is funds.
Did she say she wanted all bills paid?
All bills paid. She even went on to
But
say...
the men I engage with now are men who are submissive. Like, in my spare time, I'm a dominatrix.
Yes, I want to get onto that. I saw when you put the toes in their mouth
putting
and
toes
stuff
on their
them,
face and their mouth.
They like this.
Not only do they like it, they love it.
Jesus is Lord.